I think one of the biggest barriers, it's not only with the students, it's with the parents. And your parents say to their students, you don't want to go into education, you can't make a living at it. And that's really a myth. And then helping students understand, education is so much more than what they probably have experienced in their own classroom.
Dean McIntosh, thanks for joining us on the Loyola Interview Series podcast. Give us just an overview of what's new in the School of Ed.
What's new in the School of Education this year is we've added a new program in applied behavior analysis. That program is new to the university. It's going to fill a need within the Chicago area. It's entirely online. And applied behavior analysis, to give a little bit of a background, is an area where we have clinicians who get training to work on behavior for individuals with autism spectrum disorders. And what we found was within a 30-mile radius, there's over 200 open positions. So there's a great need in the community for ABA. The other thing that we're doing that's exciting, that's new to the School of Education, we added a new leadership minor within the School of Education this year. And I think it's historically at other institutions, that's been a very popular minor, and we're already seeing good interest for that program.
And what does that minor relate to in the, for the practical working world?
So from a practical standpoint, students who are interested in the program are coming from fields like nursing. They're coming from fields like athletics, business, obviously. And we have some students in education who would like to get some leadership skills. So from a practical standpoint, these are undergraduates. That's an undergraduate minor, obviously. And the interest there is to gain some leadership skills so when they go out and work in a nursing unit, work in a hospital, or work in athletics, then they have some leadership skills to fall on and start their careers.
And then back to the behavioral science and the autism angle on that. Is that something that's just new to Loyola, or is that something that's new to across the spectrum in higher ed?
ABA it's a new field in the past 10 to 12 years. There's a national shortage of individuals with training in applied behavior analysis, and their interest is there because they can now receive third-party reimbursement. So there's a shortage of professionals who can work with individuals on the autism spectrum and individuals that we call neurodivergent individuals. So nationally there's a shortage, internationally there's a shortage. We've seen growth in programs nationally, but this program specifically is geared for working adults who are working in the field already, who are working, for example, as registered behavioral therapists.
Anything new on the certification front? Is there any new certifications that you guys are working on?
One of the newest certifications that's related to our teacher preparation program is a certification by the Illinois State Board of Education, where they're looking at adding sustainability. What I mean by that is they're asking programs to add coursework related to sustainability. So when teachers go out into the field and they're teaching, they're incorporating sustainability topics even from K through 12th grade into the curriculum.
Loyola has a long history of mission-based education. How does that manifest itself in the School of Education?
Well, one of our strongest focuses in terms of our mission is social justice, equity, working for the whole person, so to speak, cura personalis. And so students that come into our program, our teacher preparation program from day one, are working within the Chicago Public Schools. And they're already starting to work with a very diverse student population from the very first class that they have. The other thing that we constantly do related to social justice, which is a primary focus again of our mission, is we revamp our curriculum. We look at partnerships that are going to support our mission. For example, we have partnerships with the Art Institute of Chicago, and we have programs that we work with them on related to social justice and equity, where we look at artwork, for example, and then we add the educational component to that.
Can you tell us more about the partnerships you have with CPS or other Chicago institutions?
So we have strong partnerships with the Chicago Public Schools, and then we have partnerships with, for example, the Lincoln Park Zoo, with the aquarium. So we have almost 200 plus partnerships. And part of those partnerships are related to our counseling psychology program and our school psychology program, where they have practicum placements out in the community, not just the Chicago Public Schools, the Chicago community, but surrounding urban areas. And so our students are actually going out, working in mental health facilities, providing some basic counseling skills. Our school psychologists are also working in schools, providing mental health services at the same time.
Loyola was recently named an R1 institution, and I know research is an important part of the university. What is going on in research at the School of Education?
We have several major research projects that we're currently pursuing. One of our biggest research projects is school mental health. That's a funded project, and that's one that is housed within our school psychology programs. But if you look at the past 5 to 10 years, school mental health issues have been a priority with prior administrations. So that's a big part of the research that we're doing in one area. Civic education is another area that we're doing a lot of research, and we're providing support to the local communities, educating students anywhere from K through 12th grade about civics education and about civics in general.
That's interesting, because where does the civics education stand at this point?
It's interesting that that civics education to us falls within our area of social studies. So emphasizing social studies and civic education and how to be a good citizen from an education perspective to us is really aligned with our mission. And we know that now more than ever in the country, having that knowledge and history of civic education and civics is very important.
So the question I have is, are we facing a national teacher shortage? And if so, what are the strategies to try to combat that, just on the national level and a Loyola level?
So there is a national teaching shortage, but there's also a pretty significant teacher shortage in the state of Illinois. I think 4 or 5 years ago, I think there were close to 3,000 unfilled teaching positions in the state of Illinois alone. So our part is trying to recruit and retain students. Once we admit students into our teacher education program, is retaining them and helping them be successful teachers. But it is a difficult area to recruit students into at this time. Our greatest need is teachers who want to pursue careers in special education. And so we're doing a lot behind the scenes to try to let students know who we are, what we're about, our mission in the School of Education. And we recently implemented an early admission program where we partner with the school district, and students are admitted as early as their sophomore year into our program. It doesn't mean that they will eventually come to Loyola, but we're beginning to sort of educate them, help them understand what education and becoming a teacher is about. And so that helps us all. It not only helps Loyola if they end up coming here, but also helps other universities in their teacher preparation programs. The other thing is that many of the students, if you look at some of the national data, students that are admitted early, the schools have an investment in some of their own students. So a lot of those students end up going back, sort of that grow your own model. So a lot of the students end up going back to the schools where they graduated from.
What are some of those talking points to try to convince prospective students that this is an area that would be, something they would want to do?
I think one of the biggest barriers, it's not only with the students, it's with the parents. And your parents say to their students, you don't want to go into education, you can't make a living at it. And that's really a myth. Once we sort of educate students about, you can have a really nice salary, you can live off that salary, and have a really nice career, then that helps skip through one of the first barriers. And then helping students understand, education is so much more than what they probably have experienced in their own classroom. And when they understand that there's so many different ways and pathways within education, even if you want to be a kindergarten teacher, an elementary ed teacher, or high school teacher, there's other areas that your career can take. You can become a principal, a superintendent, and so on. And then the other piece is a lot of, you go into education, you can retire in your 50s, and you have a really nice retirement. And a lot of the teachers then retire and they have other careers. So it's helping them see the attractiveness of education. We have all that we publish about and we connect with them about, but helping the parents understand. So a lot of the recruitment, again, is with the parents as well as the students.
What are some of your goals for the upcoming school year?
I think one of our primary initiatives this year is that we're going to revisit social justice, equity, and cura personalis within our curriculum. I think given where things are in schools, communities, one of the things that we're good about in the School of Education is looking at our curriculum. Are we meeting the needs of our partners, the schools that we're in, mental health facilities, and so on, and then how can we adapt and change the curriculum? So that's one thing. The second thing is we're going to start an undergraduate program in applied behavior analysis. As I mentioned before, we're going to start a graduate program we already have, but we're going to start an undergraduate program because there's a strong need for individuals who have the second level credential versus the top credential in the field. And these are high paid positions. These are positions where students come out and they can make anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000 a year. So it's going to be an online program, again, focused for students who are working in the field who do not have an undergraduate degree. And then the third thing that we're really kind of focusing on this year is we really need to kind of figure out how we're going to address up our game in research. We're a Research One institution. We've had a couple hits this year regarding grants being eliminated or terminated. So we're trying to figure out how can we shift and find external funding that's going to support the research that we're doing at this point.
How can alumni of the School of Ed help out the School of Ed? What are the avenues that they have?
So I think communicating with us is great, and letting us know that you have an interest in working with us. And our biggest needs are for student scholarships to support individuals who want to become teachers. And we want to be able to support students who are coming from low-income areas, have schools reflect the diversity of the schools, and attract students that represent diversity. And financial support is one of the biggest barriers to students going into education. And then also visit with us about some of the research that we're doing. We're really doing some cutting-edge research, especially in research related to higher education, related to counseling, mental health issues, and in teacher preparation in general.
What are some of the major challenges that it's facing not only Loyola but schools of education across the country right now?
I think we're actually doing a fairly good job navigating education given the new administration. We're not taking hits like some of the other universities, and I think that's a reflection of our leadership here at the university. But we're not just standing still, we're moving ahead. So being flexible is one of the important things in the current environment. Being flexible, shifting your focus so you can achieve your goals, and then making sure students continue to have confidence in what we do. And I think helping students understand that we're here, our focus is on students, our focus in the School of Education at Loyola is student success. So finding unique and creative ways to provide those supports is something I think we're really good at. And then I think the final thing is that retaining faculty. We have some faculty who are leaders in their field. Retaining them and keeping them here at Loyola is a priority, I know, with the institution, and also a priority within the School of Education.
Can you give me some examples of just alumni involvement with your school?
I think one of the unique aspects about the School of Education is that we interact with our alumni almost daily. Our undergraduate teacher preparation program is so unique in that freshmen, from the first day that they start, they're in the classrooms. They're in the Chicago Public Schools or in other urban classrooms from day one. And many of the classrooms that they're in are alumni from our program. And so they're interacting with our alumni from the first as freshmen all the way until they're seniors. And many of our seniors are completing student teaching in the classrooms of our alumni. And the other thing regarding our alumni and connections is that many of the leaders in the schools are from Loyola University. Recently, 3 of the top superintendents in the country were from the School of Education. So we have continuous contact with our alumni in a variety of settings, and we're looking to expand that. One of the things that we are looking to expand this year is a alumni advisory board. So we'll be connecting with our alumni, identifying alumni. If any alumni is interested in participating in that, please connect with us.
Dean McIntosh, thank you.
Thank you very much.